Hello everyone, I'm back and I'm very happy to see all of you. It's Thursday, so it's filming day and I'm here to present my projects and gossip with you too. So anyways, I'm back and I've been working on my crochet this last week, and there's also been some things that I've been doing, and I'm just playing with this whole pillowcase. Don't worry, I'm just playing with this. But actually, so in this pillowcase, there's these pearls I got a while back. I think they're freshwater pearls. They were on sale from some website I frequent. I don't know if I'm allowed to actually use the name of the website that I buy these pearls from, but or I bought these pearls from, but I'm not going to tell you. But I'm just telling you that this is the pearls that I got. I think it's mauve color, very pretty pearls. And the reason I have these is because alongside the crochet I'm making, so I'm making a lot of hair bands recently, or hair ribbons that I want to tie around my hair. Actually recently, so there was a comment. One of my subscribers, thank you to one of my subscribers, and one of the subscribers I have said that they wanted to see the finished product. So this is carnations, right? So I'm just gonna, I take it like this, and I wrap it around my hair, and I tie it in the back, right? So I'll wear this until I have to take it off and show you my next project. So basically, these hair laces that I'm making recently, like that, I'm kind of obsessed with them recently, like that. If I, straighten my posture and show you my hair lace like that. I think I'm really into it recently because I like to make sure my hair sits around. We know when the wind comes in and blows, because the wind's coming in this way, it hits my hair and then it goes all over the place. So I like to wear hair laces, but I've been making a lot of this. And one of my new projects, I think last week I talked about how I was making my Grand Lily lace, and I have it right here, and I can actually show you. But let me show the original sketch so we can review from last week. We're going to review a little from last week. So last week I was talking about my Grand Lace Lily that I wanted to make, and then I drew it out somewhere around here. Yeah, this series. So I actually got a new notebook. I just had this notebook I wasn't using, so I used this notebook. And I drew it out here. Here. Don't worry, I'll get to this in a second, but I drew this out. You see that? I wanted 2 layers to the lace. So then I made this lace over here. I made this. Yeah. I made this because I wanted the lace to have double layers, so then I made it like that. And it's fairly short, so it only goes around my hair one time. So if I take this one off 1 second, this is my carnation lace, right? Or hair lace, or ribbon lace, or whatever. And I take this lily one, I put this on. I guess I could put it on like this. See, it looks like that. Do you see that? See, it's very pretty, right? And compared to the other one, it's much bigger, which is why I call it Grand Lily Lace. But it's very nice. I don't know how to really tie it in the back because I made this a little weird length. But if I tied it like that, it's kind of pretty. I think it's kind of pretty. I don't know if I'll wear it often because this is I think flower, I don't want to limit myself. I realize that flowers can be used in many different occasions, and even though I consider lily and rose to be maybe not necessarily a celebratory flower, you could wear it in celebration. So I guess this would be a celebratory version of a lily lace. So that's why I'm not going to limit, but this one is very celebratory, so I'm probably not going to wear it all the time. I think it's pretty. And then, so I have this lace, right? This is actually kind of hard to wear, so I'm going to go back to carnations. Okay, so this is my carnation lace that, again, one of my subscribers, thank you to my subscriber, thank you to the 13 subscribers. It's like Jesus and his disciples. You guys, I don't know if it's a good thing, but it's 13. And I actually really like the number 13 because I think it's kind of pretty. I actually really like the number 6 too. I think 6 is a pretty number, kind of like a beehive comb. But yeah, one of my subscribers said they wanted to see me wear this more, so you can see me wear it. I'm going to adjust the camera in a second so you can actually see it. Yeah, so you can see it like that, yeah? See? Okay, so then that was one lace I made, and then last week I was talking about a type of lace that I was thinking about because, I love history. I love to study history, not because I like to learn about politics and any of that. I like to study history because it makes you think of how, like, back in time, people would have to struggle to survive and get food and get water to drink and any of that. But then alongside that, they were able to make so many beautiful things, for example, music and culture and art. And it's really fascinating to study and think that back in time they did that, even though it was probably more difficult to live then compared to now. So it's always fascinating to study history. One of the things I like to study history about is Babylon, and it makes you really appreciate now that we live in this time period. But anyway, so back in Babylon, they had the situation where they had their cities and whatever. And one of the things I really like about Babylon, learning about that time period, is the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. I think that's the name. It's one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, I believe. I just always thought it was really magical to say hanging gardens. And I actually know they weren't hanging from the ceiling like this, but it's always fascinating to just hear the name. It's just so mystical and so fantastical that I really like it. So then from there, I was inspired to make something called the Hanging Gardens lace, because I thought I could make, basically, let me just show you. So do I have the sketches for it? Yeah, I do. So this is the sketch that I made for it, right? So it would have this kind of hanging art. So this is the band of the lace. And then from there, I would have these arches hanging down. And then what I thought is what I could do is I could put a flower here, my lily. I could make this part, put a lily here, and then continue on like this. Because the way I design my laces is that most of the times what you have to do is, for a lace work, you have to actually make the length, and then from there you work down. So, for example, do I have something here? Yeah. So, for example, ordinarily if you make a lace, you make the length like this, okay? And then from there, you work down so that you can make the designs. But I specifically didn't want to do that because I wanted it to be where when I make a lace, I can measure out how much I'm making. So I start here and I go like this and I make it out, right? Because ordinarily you start on this length and then you go down like that. So then you would altogether crochet an inch down, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go like this. So that's why, that is the reason why, using my own ingenuity, not to brag, but I made it so that lace-wise I would start here and I would work down like this, so then I can make a certain amount of length. This is my Battle of the Lilies lace, my own design, and then that's how I designed it. But then, so that's why it's easy, very, very easy for me to make laces like this, or the one I have on my hair, and measure it out, because I can in real time like hold it up to my hair and say, okay, this is enough length to go around my head, and hold my hair like this, so this is good. So that's why I really like the way I do this, because it helps me to be very pragmatic. It's very pragmatic. If you don't know what that word is, you should go look it up. One time in 10th grade, I didn't know what the word pragmatic was, and my econ teacher told me, honey, you should, I think she's from Alabama, so she has, you know, a southern drawl, so it sounds like they have something in their like this. That, honey, hi, you should go look that up. And I did, and now I know what pragmatic means. But if you don't know what pragmatic means, you should go look it up. Use a dictionary. But yeah, so then from there, I decided to make this lace, right? But the problem was, so when I draw out this design, it's sometimes difficult to actually make the design, because as you're crocheting out the design, things come up and then it doesn't necessarily go as planned. So while I was crocheting out this design, I realized that it's actually very difficult to make this curve here. And it didn't really go as planned, and it actually kept getting not so curved and pronounced, but it was more flat. So then alongside the Hanging Gardens design, there was another design that I was thinking about making, and I knew I wanted to base it off like oceans, because, you know, my channel is named Spy Cetus, and Cetus is actually my favorite constellation, because it's actually the first constellation that I learned about ever. And then I learned about the story behind it, and I thought, oh, I tend to take the interpretation of Cetus not as a whale, though I do like whales. I tend to take the interpretation of Cetus as a sea monster that was sent on a divine mission and then unceremoniously dismissed from that mission that it was sent on. And I feel bad for Cetus, because Cetus was just doing what he was told to do. So in my world, Cetus represents something of loyalty and dedication. So that's why I actually really like Cetus, because he was doing exactly what I mean, maybe it wasn't such a good thing, and maybe to some extent he didn't like what he was doing. Maybe. I would think so. I tend to think he didn't like what he was doing, but he was told to do it, and he was respectful of who he was working for, so he did it, and then he met his end and demise. And I feel bad for Cetus, and I really resonate with that kind of personality, so that's why I took the name Cetus for my channel, Spy Cetus. Spy we'll get to another day. But anyways, so then because of Spy Cetus, and then I remember studying constellations, and then we learned how constellations within the sky are often associated with specific families, like the Perseus family or the Orion family or whatever, but there's one specific family that Cetus belongs to. I think it actually belongs to. So I know Cetus as a constellation belongs to the Perseus family, because Cetus is related to the myth of and the mythos of Perseus, but Cetus apparently also belongs to the family of the Heavenly Waters family. And when I first heard the word Heavenly Waters, I thought that was such a magical phrase. So then I took what I learned from here and I redesigned a different, this was the original design, but didn't work. So then I redesigned this hanging gardens. You can see the crossed out part, and I renamed it Heavenly Waters lace. And I redesigned it to be that, where it has a little drop to represent the ocean and then waves. And then my final project that I ended up with is this. So this is the Heavenly Waters lace, and the reason why it's so pretty is because it looks like waves, right? Like that. Then when I put it on, one second. When I put the Heavenly Waters lace on, it wraps around my head twice, right? So here it goes once. And it looks like, you'd think it looks like a crown, but then when I wrap it around twice, there's like another wave. So then, all together, it looks like it has waves in my hair, like the ocean waves. But it's not the ocean waves, it's the heavenly waters of the sky at night. And it's kind of magical, don't you think? It's very pretty like that. So the Heavenly Waters lace, this is the one I made this last week, and I think it came out really nicely. It's a happy situation because I was able to learn how to basically make this design, and then I made it, and then now I have it, and it's very pretty. So I think it's very nice. The Heavenly Waters lace, very pretty, don't you think? But yeah, so this is what I made the last week. It's very pretty. Kind of my hair is sticking up back there, but oh well. So yeah, that's what I've been working on recently with my designs. And then I think for now what I'm going to do with the Heavenly Waters lace is, the Hanging Gardens lace, that one needs a little more consideration. So I think I'm going to put that on pause, and I'm going to make a few other laces first. I have a few other laces I want to make, and I'm going to put that on pause first before I come back to the Hanging Gardens, because I think it really needs more thought and more understanding of working with these kinds of pronounced triangles, because I really do like this. This is my Heavenly Waters lace, but it needs a little more modification in order to become Hanging Gardens. I just need to fix it a little, so we'll get to that eventually. But for now, I'm just going to pause the Hanging Gardens designs because I'm going to work on a few other designs. But yeah, now that I've talked about my lace, I think I'll talk about some gossip from this week. So one gossip I wanted to talk about is how some people are really weird when it comes to road safety. Okay, so actually a lot happened because I actually drove a lot in downtown of my city recently because I just had to do stuff downtown. I think I had to go to FedEx or something. Basically, I've just been going there a lot. And then on the way there, on the way there I was fine. There was really no problem. But on my way back, there's been so many incidents recently because I would, first of all, I was coming to an intersection with the stoplight, right? And I stopped at the stoplight, and then, because it was red, but then the car next to me, it wasn't even a yellow light. The car blew right through the red light, and I didn't know what I was thinking, so I had to check what I was looking at and saying, yeah, that's a red light. What are you do? What was that? So then I thought I was crazy because I drive very carefully on the road. Wait one second. I'll be right back.